Welcome to the fourth edition of Live from the United, a series presented by the United Theater in Westerly, Rhode Island. On today's episode, we take our first field trip, a new segment where we go behind the scenes with some of our region's most interesting artists, businesses, and organizations. This week, we visited our Canal Street neighbors at Graysale Brewing of Rhode Island. But first, our artistic director, Tony Noon, sits down with Grammy-nominated musician and Late Show with Stephen Colbert bandleader, Jon Batiste, for a discussion about music, education, and soul.
Jon Batiste, thank you for speaking with me today to talk about some of the exciting projects that you've been working on. I want to kick things off and ask if you can set the scene for me and tell me where we are and what you've been doing here these past few months during lockdown.
Yes, I'm in Westerly, Rhode Island at the Knickerbocker. And I've been here filming The Late Show with Stephen Colbert and doing a score for the Pixar film Soul. I'm actually recording the musical score for the film here. I have a truckload of studio equipment behind me. I've been doing my new album, which is coming out in January, and that's entitled We Are. I've been recording it here. Finishing it. It's been a year process that's culminated in the COVID times. So between those three projects, writing a new musical and several other projects and performances via the internet, I've been quite busy here for the last, want to say, 3 months. 2 or 3 months, actually, since the end of March, early April.
Can you tell me how the industry changes and changes with COVID have affected your music and your work and you personally over the past few months?
The COVID times have been productive, as I was saying, but also it reorients you to what's important in your life, because you have these times where things are shaking up and all the things that you may depend on are not there. You can't go out, you can't see people, you can't go to the store that's up the block, you can't travel to different places as you once could. So you have to think about really what makes life worth living for you, and finding a way to tap into that and to be content no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, no matter who you're with. Those are the things that are that inner strength, that fortitude through the chaos.
You said you've been working on music for the new Disney Pixar film Soul, a movie that is essentially about the human soul. And I'm wondering, do you think the movie will be received now at a deeper level because of everything that's happened in 2020?
I think people have been confronted with their soul in this time. There's a lot of isolation, and then there's a lot of people who are focusing on things that they have learned to ignore out of necessity. To be blunt, people have built their life in a way to where they can ignore their soul, and they can distract themselves from those deeper concerns. And I think the movie is really about, it speaks to that in the most universal way that a Pixar film can. You know, they always have narratives that speak to things in such a universal way for all ages. But in general, I think that this time has made people a lot deeper. And for those who are fortunate enough to come out of this time, it'll make us stronger. You know, it will be something that we remember that we came through, and you know, the power of coming through something like that is just divine. God pulled us through it. We made it. That's a powerful thing.
That power of music, that feeling and healing power it provides, has been such a big part of your year. The New York Times recently did a feature on you and about some of the shows that you've done around Juneteenth at the Barclays Center in a piece they titled "Jazz is Built for Protests." How do you view music in that way? And what role do you think music takes in protest and change?
Yeah. I think that music is a gift from God to give people a feeling that transforms them from the inside out. So you have this sound that happens to connect with so many souls, so many people, so many are inspired to action. And then from there, you have to galvanize that intention towards something that's important. And I think that's how I would describe, I guess you could call them protests that I've been doing, marches, rallies. Is really trying to point people in a direction to do something constructive around all of the problems that we're seeing, all of the forms of oppression, all of the forms of all of the ills that have made us apathetic to participating in our own government and in our own self-improvement as a nation. You just want to throw your hands up sometimes. And the music is a way to release that tension and also point people to constructive action. Voting has really been the focus of what we've been doing, registering folks to vote. We had a march with 5,000 plus musicians, dancers that turned into even way more than that. People joining us marching in New York from Union Square to Herald Square, the Empire State Building. And we did a voter registration rally at the Barclays Center, which we had folks registering to vote with QR codes, scanning their phone, and passing out masks and hand sanitizer, and getting everybody to safely experience the music while also registering to vote or checking to see if they can, if they're registered properly or if they have an absentee ballot that they need to fill out, or when the next thing that they need to do if they're not from New York, when the next election is. All these things are just constructive to me. And that's what we've been doing. It's called We Are.
Has that shifted some of the music that you've been working on for the new album? Has anything shifted in tone because of this year?
The music for the album actually preceded this, and they all are related in this way that feels very prescient. I don't even know how we were so prophetic about where things were going, but the music feels all aligned with everything that we've been doing out there. So it's really, I don't know how that happened. Again, it's out of my hands when I'm making the music. I don't, I just move.
When is the new album coming out?
The new album the date is in January at some point. But we're gonna be putting out music before that. So just check it out. I mean, I guess if you wanna follow either online or just on social media, the Instagram, Facebook, it's all just Jon Batiste. So you'll find the music. And we also have these wonderful shirts that we've been wearing during the marches, that all the proceeds go to different organizations that are helping with the causes that we are focused on. Voting, the EJI, which is Equal Justice Initiative, Brian Stevenson's movement. The funding goes there. The funding also goes to the Innocence Project, which is an amazing organization as well, and also St. Augustine High School in New Orleans, which is a school that I went to. So we're donating all the proceeds to these different organizations. So if you want to get a shirt, I'd check that out as well. It's all just pushing the good energy forward, man. We got to keep pushing it.
I wanted to end by asking you about the importance of music education. You've done a number of master classes, which have been amazing here at the Nick and with us through the United Theater, and that's something that we're building on and trying to collaborate and work together to create a masterclass program for the years ahead. But I'm wondering, for you, why is music education so important?
Music education and music in general has been a real blessing for me to discover my identity in different ways, to discover different facets of who I am and find a way to express that and encourage other people to do the same. Music has this ability to speak across time and connect different times because it is rooted in the humanity that everyone shares at all different eras of time. So I find education to be a transference of this collective wisdom that we've gathered over generations, you know, listening to music from hundreds of years ago and listening to music made today and making connections. So really, that's what being a musician is about. That's part of what it's about, making those connections. And then the education is just an extension of that, just sharing with the younger musicians who are coming up and sharing with the audience. So I look forward to continue to do that as I have here in Rhode Island. It's been a really great place to come and share with people since, I've been coming here since my first performances at the Newport Festival, 2012 or 2013. So it's been beautiful.
Thank you so much, Jon.
I don't remember, did you want me to play?
Yeah, play us out.
All right, so let's see what we have today.
This amazing region we call home is populated by so many incredible artists, craftspeople, and creative innovators working out of equally incredible spaces. There's something inspiring about stepping into someone's workshop or production space, and that's exactly what we aim to do with our new field trip segments. This week, we take a trip down the road to visit our Canal Street neighbors at Gray Sail Brewing for a sneak peek at their process and the art of the brew.
Hi, welcome to Gray Sail Brewing Company. We're here at 63 Canal Street. We're standing in a 1924 building that was built as a pasta factory and is now a brewery and has been for the last 10 years. So we're excited to show you around. So the first step in the brewing process is that the grain comes over from the silo and it goes into the mash tun. In the mash tun we introduce hot liquid, so hot water, and the grains get pumped in. We may add some specialty grains, which you're seeing today, with the additions of the peated malt in the bags. And from there, the liquid mixes with the grain and the rakes that are inside mash it down. And the two products that come out of the mash tun are the wort, which is the liquid for the beer, which will get transferred through a filter into the brew kettle. In the brew kettle is where Rich or Michelle will add hops, other ingredients that might be part of that recipe for a particular brew. We'll bring it up to a boil. Everything is very timed. It's no different than cooking. Everything is timed, has specific ingredients, weights, measurements, and that'll occur for 6 to 8 hours, depending on the brew. From there, we'll transfer to a whirlpool where it'll just basically do that. It'll whirlpool out and then get transferred to one of the fermenters, which we have throughout the brewery. So the most space is taken up with the fermenters. Not very exciting to watch. The beer is transferred into the fermenter. The brewers will pitch the yeast within that 2-week period, where the beer sits and ferments out in the fermenters. So that's the main part of this process, or main time-consuming part of the process. From the fermenters, we'll transfer again through transfer hoses to a bright tank, which is adjacent to the packaging line. Looks just like a fermenter. In the bright tank, we'll charge CO2 to carbonate the beer. And once that is at its proper levels, we will transfer that over to the canning line or the keg filler. And we can do about 200 cases in an hour through the canning line. It's a fully automated line. It's manned by 2 people usually. The hydraulic lift will take the cans level by level up to the top level where the cans come into the conveyor system. They'll go through a twist rinser, so when the cans are being twisted around slowly, they're getting a squirt of water which then drains out. It helps for filling with the beer, so it's just part of the process. They'll go through our 12-head rotary canner where the beer will get, the carbonated beer has come over from the bright tank, fills the cans. The lid is placed on, again, through the canner, very mechanical process. From there, they'll come out filled. They'll go through a check weigher to make sure that they're not a short fill. Sometimes some get through, but for the most part, if anything is a short fill, had too much foam, isn't the right weight, we will catch it at that point and we'll make it a sample beer, to use in the market. And then from there, we pack tech it, get it on the cases, onto a pallet. And today we are loading those pallets right onto a truck because we are trying to fill up our distributors ahead of the Thanksgiving holiday. So recently, right as COVID hit, we launched our distillery, South County Distillers. And Ryan Gavush is our head distiller and owner of the distillery. And he is in process today making bourbon. We are aging some spirits like bourbon and whiskey. We have some clear spirits that are already out on the market, rum, agave, gin, and vodka. And that's, again, a brand new entity. It's really just getting launched now, almost very quietly because of COVID. It's very difficult to get out and do the proper marketing with it. But it's a kind of a soft opening year. Most people have a soft opening week. We're having a soft opening year for the distillery.